All right, so at the time that I'm posting this video, it is either the day of or it's very close to my birthday. December 1st, my birthday. It might be the day this is going up, I'm not sure yet, but it is very close to my birthday. I am 30. Oh God. And in going through some of my old birthday memories from when I was a kid, I came across this photograph. This was my 12th birthday cake in, I guess that would make it 2007. And some of you might be looking at this and recognizing exactly what today's video is about right away. But for those of you who don't know, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with something called Edgar and Ellen. That's Edgar, that's Ellen, that's their pet. And yes, some person working at the bakery section in Walmart probably had to figure out what the hell Edgar and Ellen were to decorate this cake, and I absolutely adore that. They did a great job. But yeah, today we are talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, though I'm not sure how many people are actually like on board with me on that. The series Edgar and Ellen. Edgar and Ellen was a children's book series from the mid to late 2000s, and I was just absolutely obsessed with it, man. Like I've said before that I was a big fan of like Tim Burton-esque stuff. I loved The Nightmare Before Christmas. I loved Corpse Bride, stuff like that. So when I saw this initially, I was absolutely immediately hooked. This is the first book in the series, Rare Beast, and you will see it is by someone named Charles Ogden. Fake man. Doesn't exist. It's one of those pseudonyms that people use to like they hired some writers or like a group of writers from the publisher. It's not a real person. But I just remember way back in the day watching Nicktoons Network before school and seeing these little animated shorts pop up during the commercial breaks of something called Edgar and Ellen, and they were just these cool little animated shorts of these characters pulling pranks, getting into mischief, whatever the hell. And, you know, I thought they were fun, but I didn't really think too much of it until I went to Target one day when I was a kid and I saw this. This is the fourth book in the series, Pet's Revenge. That's Pet. And I remember seeing this on the bookshelf at Target and thinking, what the hell? I had no idea that those animated shorts on Nickelodeon, or not even Nickelodeon, Nicktoons Network, were based on a book series. So completely apropos of nothing, I asked my parents if I could get this book. They agreed, and then the rabbit hole just fell down so fast. And because it's my birthday, probably when you're seeing this, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about my Edgar and Ellen collection. Please don't click off the video. So first off, we got to look at the entire original book series, of which there are 6. I should probably explain what the series is about. So Edgar and Ellen are these two twins. That's Edgar, that's Ellen. They live in this giant mansion, basically completely by themselves, with their weird little pet that they call Pet, who, as you can see here, is just a clump of hair with an eyeball on it. And they live in a town called Nod's Limbs, and they're essentially the like Edward Scissorhands of the town. So like if you've ever seen Edward Scissorhands, you know, like Edward lives in this creepy mansion on a hill, and it's the like dark black and white macabre area of an otherwise very bright, happy suburban Californian town. That's what this is like. Edgar and Ellen are these complete outliers in their town, and they're not particularly popular among the residents because they like to pull pranks on people and stuff like that. And so this first book, Rare Beasts, is about them going around their town, stealing all of the citizens' pets and then selling them back to them as rare beasts. So like they stole someone's cat, dressed it up all fancy like an exotic creature, and sold it back to them. Then we have Tourist Trap. I love that all of the books have the exact same like framing for the covers, but just with different colors. I do not remember exactly what Tourist Trap is about. Then we have Undertown, which I remember this one introducing like a very mysterious character in like a white hood or something like that. Don't remember much about it. I'm planning on rereading these soon because I have not actually read through this entire series of books since 5th grade. But then we had Pet's Revenge, which was my favorite. It was about Pet here for some reason going completely berserk and just turning on Edgar and Ellen, which is why you see them tied up here on the cover. Then you have High Wire, which has to do with some kind of weird carnival. The primary thing I remember about this book is a joke about how someone threatened to hit someone with a rubber chicken. That is the only thing I remember about this book. And then you have Nod's Limbs, which again, that's the name of the town they live in. And as you can see, this as the final book in the, I guess 6 books would be a sextilogy, something like that. I feel like I need to censor that. Things have gotten serious as there appears to be some kind of like angry mob here on the front, but I just love having all of these books in this like set. Look at how nice that looks. The way that they all look almost identical, but with a different color, red, blue, green, purple, orange, yellow, yellow with the exact same framing. They just look wonderful. And, you know, I haven't actually opened up any of these books yet. Let's see. Let's find a good illustration. So that's the house they live in. There they are. Look at that art style. Look at that nice, sketchy, like Burton-esque art style. Look at how like vacant their eyes are. I loved this stuff growing up. Oh, there's Pet. He really looks like a mound of hair in this illustration. I've been reminiscing on some stuff, and I've been planning to go back and reread this entire series just to kind of brush up and remind myself what it's actually about at the end of the day, because I really can't recall. But look at that. Look at all the sad, scared animals that they stole. Oh, right. And every Edgar and Allan book starts with this little passage that says, if ever in your life you are faced with a choice, a difficult decision, a quandary, ask yourself, what would Edgar and Allan do? And do exactly the contrary. This is how I learned what contrary meant when I was a kid. Oh, I forgot about that. So when I was a kid, I found these books. I became absolutely obsessed with them. I still have a very like vivid memory of my dad coming home from like an out-of-town trip and bringing me this one to read and adding a new one to the collection. It's because I started with this one and then I went backwards basically. And then I think Highwire and Nod's Limbs were like the new ones when I was a kid, like the ones that actually like I had to wait to come out. But then after this book series wrapped up, there was actually a few more books. Enter the Nodacy trilogy. I have never actually read these. So we got Hot Air, Frostbites, and Split Ends, the Nodacy trilogy, Nodacy 1, 2, and 3. In fact, let's swap these around so we're going in order. Now, I knew that these books existed when I was a kid, but I couldn't find them anywhere. These were released, I think, between like 2008 and 2009 or something like that, and I usually found these books at Targets or Barnes & Nobles or something like that, and I could never ever find these. When I was a kid, I used to go to the kids section of Barnes & Noble every single time I could to see if any of these were in stock, to the point that all these years later, whenever I walk into a Barnes & Noble, there's still this little voice in the back of my head going, check and see if they have the Nodacy books. Which obviously they don't. They don't. These are from 2008, 2009. Why would they have them? But because I could never find them, these are the Edgar and Allan novels that I have actually yet to read. So I am very excited to get to these on my re-binge. And as you can see, they were still running with these being written by Charles Ogden, a pseudonym for a fake man. I swear the day I found that out, part of my childhood died a little bit. And if you think my collection stops at just these, you would be dead wrong. Yes, I have the entire series again. These I bought off like Amazon or something back in like 2020, 2021, something like that. Or maybe it was Barnes & Noble. I ordered these offline when I was trying to buy like new fresh copies of the entire series. And man, these are cheap, dude. I don't know what the deal was, but these reprints are, whoa, wait, is that there? Hold on, I just noticed something I've never noticed before. Whoa, I just noticed something new. Okay, so this is one of the like close to original print copies of the final book in the original series, Nod's Limbs, that I have. And this is this like weird cheap reprint that I had. I just noticed right behind Nod's Limbs here, there's the word revenge in like a shadow font. I've never noticed that, and I honestly can't tell if it's meant to be there. It's in the same font as the rest of it, but like it's not on any of the other copies of Nod's Limbs, I don't think, which, spoiler alert, I have more. Hey, actually, Editor Foafy here. Under closer inspection while I was taking a look back at this footage, what this appears to be is the logo for Pet's Revenge, the fourth book in the series, accidentally being like printed underneath the Nod's Limbs text. The word Nods is kind of obscuring the pet, but it's definitely the logo for Pet's Revenge without any color. So this is 100% just some kind of weird printing error with the cover. I don't know if this one copy is the only one that has an error like this, or if a bunch of different copies of this book have gone out with this printing error, but yeah, that was just a random thing I noticed. Sorry, I'll get back to what I was meaning to say. But yeah, I ordered these in like 2020 or 2021 to get new, fresh, clean copies of the entire series, and they are completely not what I would have expected. Let's use Pet's Revenge here as an example. So immediately, the new book is way taller. It's much larger of a book than the other. And then you'll notice the cover looks like weirdly cheap. This has this really nice like layering and beveling to it all, kind of gives it some depth and pop. And this is just like a cheap like photo print. You can even see where the photo print actually ends here. Like this is just like a cheap Xerox. It's got a glossy print. I remember opening it up and feeling like the print placement of the words looked a little bit like sloppier. Yeah. Oh yeah. This looks cheap. So fun fact, the Edgar and Ellen series wasn't particularly successful. I mean, it ran for a long time and it certainly had its fans, but it didn't take over the world like Unfortunate Events or Harry Potter or any shit like that. So if these books are even in print anymore, they probably did a lot to kind of cut down on costs when reprinting them. Let's see. God, look at this text, man. That is sloppy. So yeah, when I bought these back in like 2020 or 2021, I was like, cool, I've got like a full, clean, brand new set of Edgar and Ellen books, but they don't look anything like what I grew up with, and they're honestly kind of bad. Like, yeah, if you just want to read it, this would do the job, but this does not fulfill the nostalgia of holding one of these books for me. But you might be asking why I even needed a whole fresh set of copies of the books anyway, and that's because what I showed you at the start of this video was not actually my childhood set of these books. Yeah, so these are not my childhood Edgar and Ellen books. These are my childhood Edgar and Ellen books. Oh God, oh no, oh God. You might be asking, what the f did you do to these books, dude? Oh God, this is one of my greater shames as a child. So when I was a kid, my bed had a little headboard behind it that had 3 little cubbies. And in the middle cubby, I always kept my Edgar and Ellen books because they were my favorites. But I was a dumb kid, man. So when I would like sit in my bed, especially right after taking a shower or anything, I would lay my head right up against the spines of these books for years, dude. Years and years of me just absent-mindedly resting my hair and head against the spines of these books. Not to mention things like just kind of picking at them and tearing at them during like school or whatever. Oh God, my copy of Pet's Revenge is just grody, man. And over the years, all of that just idiocy started wearing away at these spines to where now these might be my childhood copies, but good Lord, I would probably never take these anywhere because they look problematic. In fact, let's open these up and see. Oh, the front cover of this one still looks all right. Oh, look, there's my name. I just said Ryder. So this would have been like 2007. So yeah, this is like 11 or 12-year-old me's signature. I don't think I did anything to the inside of these books. I think the inside of these books are gonna be pretty clean still. But God, just look at that spine. You can barely see any of the text. You can't see the little pet eye that's supposed to be here. It just looks, let's just say it looks like a skid mark. You know, tourist trap's a little less egregious. You can still kind of make out what it says. And again, the cover looks all right. Undertown here, we're starting to get a little bit worse because the books that were close to the center of the cubby were always where my head laid directly, which is why my favorite of these books, Pet's Revenge, has probably the most damage. Good Lord. It's like I skinned it alive. And then somehow also Edgar's face here has gone like sour. I don't know how the rest of the cover is basically untouched, but Edgar's face here has gone sour. Oh, even the back, like what is this? What happened to my book? Ew, it's greasy looking. Ew. And yet Highwire, the cover looks basically untouched. Oh, we got a little poopy stain there. And Nod's limbs, I guess this one also started peeling a little bit because you can see I started like ripping some of the like outer layer of plastic off. So yeah, that's why I went out of my way to buy new copies of this book series, is because I'm an idiot and I absolutely ruined my childhood copies. I mean, they're still readable, but if you were to show this to anyone, like if you were reading this on the bus or on the train, people would be giving you some weird looks because it kind of looks like you just pulled these books out of the toilet, you know? So as much as I loved these when I was a kid, I did need to retire them after a while, just for a little bit of a eyeball bleach. Here's the clean copies again. Doesn't that look so much better? And luckily, I don't keep books on a headboard where I rest my wet hair anymore. So these are going to remain pristine. But yes, that means I have 1, 2, 3 complete sets of the Edgar and Ellen original series in 3 different, like, I guess like print runs or something. My childhood ones, the ones that I bought online that didn't look right and are kind of shitty, and then the ones that I bought to counteract this. But if you can believe it, that's not all. Because to be honest, it actually took a while to find like good, clean, original copies of the books that weren't like slightly off. And every time I thought I found the right thing, there would always be something different about it that threw me off to where it's like, this is clearly not the same print edition of the book that I had as a kid. So I don't have another complete set, but I do have Rare Beasts, Tourist Trap, Pet's Revenge, and Nod's Limbs just kind of sitting here. More duplicates because because quite frankly, in addition to going through multiple rounds of trying to find these online, it's also one of those things where pretty much anytime I go to a used bookstore and there's an Edgar and Allan book in stock, I buy it. They're kind of uncommon to find, and they're also like dirt cheap. Like you can get them for like $3. So I have 4 copies of 4 of the books, and you might think that these are just yet another print version of the exact same ones I showed you before, but you would be wrong. They're different, and it's weird, and it makes me mad. So like this one looks the same. Pet's Revenge here, same. Tourist Trap, what? Where's the thing? Where's the this part? Why? Where's the thing about Edgar and Allan, and where's the thing that taught me how the word contrary is? Why are the first 2 pages of this blank, and then we get to it? Why is this not just the opening cover? Why is that also the case on Rare Beasts? Come on, man. What are these 2 pages even for? This is supposed to be the front cover. Inside. Then it gets even weirder. You might notice that every single one of these books, the text of the title matches the theme of the book. That's not the case on all of them, because here's another 2 copies of Pet's Revenge and Rare Beasts with no eyeball on the spine. The text is a slightly different font, and it's yellow. And then look at this. There's a little holographic lenticular thing on Pet's eyeball. Look at it. He's wiggly wobbling. And on the front cover, also, again, yellow text. That's never been a thing. I think I found this at a bookstore in like Pigeon Forge or something like that. Again, anytime I find an Edgar and Allan book in the wild, I buy it. It doesn't matter. But then when I see that they have these like weird differences, I can't help it. Like, look, like this also doesn't have the beveling on the cover. It's got a completely different font and color for the title. The spines are totally different, and it wasn't until I opened up this book that I kind of started to figure out what might be going on. See, this one has the actual right inside cover. Tricycle Press, Toronto. So this might be a Canadian print of the book. Well, actually, no, that says California. So what's the point? But yeah, this says Tricycle Press, whereas the other books were all like Aladdin, Simon & Schuster kind of thing. So it's like different prints from different people. And then this copy of Pet's Revenge, I think it's Australian. Yeah, see, National Library of Australia by, what is it, Hodder Books? So this is some kind of Australian print that someone was just, I think, listing on Amazon. And you see it's got the wrong text, the wrong font, no beveling on the cover, weird spine. But this is my favorite copy of Pet's Revenge that I own because, for whatever reason, whoever was selling this online didn't even think it was worth mentioning that it's signed by the illustrator of the entire damn series. Yes, this particular copy of Pet's Revenge was signed by Rick Carton, the illustrator of every single Edgar and Allan book, which makes him a childhood hero of mine. Apparently it was signed to someone named Isabel, who, sorry, does not own this anymore. It's mine. You can't have it. And they even drew a little pet right down there in the bottom. I remember spending so much time as a kid on edgarandellen.com, the official website for the series. There were like fan art pages and flash games and like a weird music player and stuff like that. But then there was this one video I remember seeing of Rick Carton, the illustrator of the series, teaching you how to draw Pet. And I studied that thing. Like there is a drawing of Pet that I did when I was a kid that is literally sitting on my refrigerator in the other room. So having this little signed copy with a little pet drawing from the guy who drew all of these characters to begin with, that's really special to me, man. And it's also special because if I remember correctly, I think Rick Carton passed away. I don't remember exactly, but I'm fairly positive he passed away a little while ago. So I don't know, I treasure this particular copy. But if you thought it stopped there, you'd be wrong, because there are spin-off books. This is the Edgar and Allan Mischief Manual, an expert's guide to planning, perpetrating, they're doing alliteration. An expert's guide to planning, perpetrating, and plausibly denying all pranks, great and small, but mostly great. This one's just been edited by Charles Ogden. We're changing his title from author to editor, even though he doesn't exist. So this is like a kid's little activity book. Learn how to recruit and train your devious underlings, navigate and prank in complete darkness, build your very first catapult, harness the mysterious power of Confucianism, and oh so much more. This is like a kid's novelty activity book, I guess, which I remember being really excited to get as a kid, but I never really like read it all the way through because I don't know, I wasn't really an activity book kid. But look at all these different illustrations there are. Look at Pet, look at Edgar and Allan, they're so cool. I like them. I really love their designs. And you get to see, and you go, oh right, Edgar he had a satchel. He had this Mary Poppins ass satchel that just carried so much infinite junk that was always like right there when he needed it in a scrap. And I remember when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with this book series that like I actually asked my parents to get me a satchel. I still have it and I use it all the time. like these books had a weirdly high amount of influence on me. What the fuck are these guys? These don't look anything like Edgar and Ellen characters. These look like Garbage Pail Kids. What the hell are these? I don't like these guys. Then we got some actual characters from the book. We got Stephanie, the popular girl that is like the mayor's daughter. And there's the mayor and the mayor's kid. Oh yeah, Heimertz. Is that what his name? This was like the only other person who lived in that crazy mansion that Edgar and Ellen lived in. He's this weird, creepy, silent, stalking like groundskeeper who has this giant fucking like Alistair has-been hotel smile. And he was always like one of the creepier elements of the book. Forgot about that dude, man. So this is a bunch of like little activities to do, like little inspiration points for games to play, I assume. And just like it's a gimmicky thing, you know? Ooh, look at that. That's cool. This would be a fun poster. But that wasn't everything because there's still more. We have Edgar and Ellen Harum Scarum, a pop-up misadventure. So this is a big-ass picture book that I found at Target in, well, what would it be? It would be right here. 2007, yes. This is a giant-ass picture book with these really nice, full color for the first time, detailed illustrations of Edgar and Ellen. You can tell it's not going to be a particularly deep read, but it's more fun just to have all of these great illustrations on full display. Really clean art. Look at that. Look at these colors, purple and green. Oh yeah, if you haven't noticed by now, Edgar and Ellen are always wearing these like pink and white striped footy pajamas and nothing else ever. This is the only thing they ever wear. God, I used to draw these characters all the time when I was a kid. Where's the pop-up part? I think it's just the last page is a pop-up thing. Okay, there's Pet. And then, ooh, you can't see it. Here we go. Oh, don't hit the mic. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, that actually looks really cool on camera. We got their giant mansion. We got Pet kind of parasailing down. And we have Edgar and Ellen on the top. I'm worried if I try to show you, it'll hit the mic. There they are. It's weird to call it a pop-up misadventure when only the last page is pop-up, but you know, this might have been one of the only pop-up books I had as a kid. And then I didn't actually have this one as a kid. I didn't know it existed, but I found it recently. Edgar and Ellen Graphic Novelty, a comics collection. I had never even heard of this one back in the day. And again, it's not in color, but look at all these illustrations, man. These are amazing. I just really love the like Burton-esque aesthetic of this entire series. Except for this guy. This guy looks like Garfield. Let's see, what do we have here? Ooh, oh, we got some weird art styles. What is this, the Cramp Twins? Yeah, that's the weird thing about graphic novels and comic book collections of franchises that you're very familiar with. They always switch up the art style a little bit. It's very strange. Do you have anything else? The fuck is Sluice? Oh, well, we got like an anime style going on here. That's a little bit wild. Oh, speaking of anime style, we went full anime. Whoa! The Edgar and Ellen Revenge Squad. We got a full-on manga-inspired one. Man, this really was 2007, huh? It was back in the days of Kappa Mikey. Looks like we got some like fake advertisements in here too. What is this? This is so weird. I've never actually sat down and read this thing front to back. This is a very, very strange little oddity. Who are these guys? And at last, we have finally reached the end of the books. But don't think that's where all this stops. No. There's probably a few of you who are looking at this and thinking, God, this looks so familiar, but I know for a fact that I did not have these books. Why do these look familiar to me? And I'll tell you why. It's because for some reason in 2007 at the Halloween season, Target did a deal where the entire Halloween section of every Target was Edgar and Ellen themed. I'm not kidding. You can look up pictures of this. Target Halloween sections in 2007, like instead of having like a big like traditional Halloween display in the middle, they had Edgar and Ellen's mansion with like moving cardboard cutouts of Edgar and Ellen and stuff. And they had all this Edgar and Ellen merchandise for some reason. No one knew what this was. Why did they do that? I'll tell you what though, I was hyped. I remember going out, there wasn't a Target in my hometown, so we had to go out of town for this. But I remember going out of town on a day off from school. I think it was a sick day or something. And I went out of town with my dad and he took me to Target so I could see the Halloween stuff at Edgar and Ellen land, essentially. And God, it was so cool. And so I do have a few little pieces of Edgar and Ellen Target Halloween memorabilia that I've had left over from childhood. and a few things that I bought for nostalgia. First up, yeah, we've gotten to the point where we're showing pencils on the channel. What the fuck am I doing? Yes, this is an entire set of Target Halloween Edgar and Ellen pencils. I say they're Edgar and Ellen, but I really only think this one has any Edgar and Ellen stuff on it. I think the rest is all just generic Halloween themed. It's not focusing. Why isn't it focusing? Yeah, so you got the Edgar and Ellen logo here on the center, you've got Edgar and Ellen on the sides, and then the rest is pretty much just generic Halloween theme. Like this one's just got a bunch of bats on it. This one's just got ghosts and tombstones. Oh my god. This tombstone just says oops. That's really funny. This one just says Halloween on it and has like witches. Like only this particular design has anything Edgar and Ellen to do with it, but the packaging had a bunch of Edgar and Ellen iconography. I really like, it's really crazy that I still have these. Like my dad, for whatever reason, just had this like sense in him to go, you know, you might not want to use those pencils. And he was right. If I had used them, then I wouldn't have them anymore because they would have like run out or broke or something, but I still have a complete set of Edgar and Ellen pencils. That's really fun. Speaking of buying something and never using it, here is an entire set of unused, with no money on them, Edgar and Ellen themed Target gift cards. My parents bought these for me and then put no money on the gift cards because I didn't want money to spend, I just wanted the cards. So this is a 3 set of Edgar and Ellen Halloween gift cards, and they're lenticulars, so you move it around and they move. You got Ellen on the top dumping a bucket of toxic waste. You have Edgar and his weird little spider thing. And you have Pet down here who gets up and then gets back down with pumpkins. It's really cute. I've held on to these for so long, man. I used to have these displayed on my wall. That's why they're kind of sun faded. But of course, this is partially a trading card channel, so I had to show the cards. And then this is the one thing from the Halloween stuff that I didn't actually have as a kid, but I bought on eBay recently to fulfill some childhood nostalgia. This is the Edgar and Ellen Pet Halloween trick-or-treating bucket. Who the f was gonna use this for trick-or-treating? It's so hairy. But this is still sealed, I guess, in the way that like a Beanie Baby is sealed, that is to say it has the tag on it. So we can see the actual like branding here is the Edgar and Ellen Pet Trick-or-Treat bucket. And as you can see here, it is just this grody little fuzzball with an eyeball on it. It doesn't even really look like Pet all that much because like it doesn't. I mean, look at this good boy. Now look at this. Expectation versus reality. But it is cool to have this as a display piece. And the funny thing is there's candy in it. This thing came with some candy, some like little like fruit crunchies. I guess they're like runts or something. And they're still in there, sealed up. Like, what would that be? 18-year-old candy? This stuff is damn near 20 years old. So, probably just gonna leave it in there. But then there was one other thing that they had in the Target Halloween section that year that I absolutely had to get, and that was this Edgar and Ellen Trick or Twins DVD. That's right, I said that there were animated shorts. I didn't mention that there was a full-fledged animated series, which if you do remember this show, that might be where you most remember it from. Kind of buried the lead on that one. But yeah, the success of the animated shorts and I guess whatever kind of marketing push they were trying to go for with this Halloween crossover, it all came at the same time that they were trying to push Edgar and Ellen as a full-fledged animated series. And this DVD has only 2 episodes from that series, and it's a Halloween special and kind of a snow winter themed episode. And as far as I know, this was only sold at Target as part of the Halloween promotion. I still have it all these years later. I'm pretty sure it still works. And God, what an unfortunate cartoon. It's unfortunately not the greatest. You can see here on the back, it's a very 2007 show. It's got kind of like some pretty restricted budget animation. It kind of looks like it was made in Flash or Toon Boom or whatever Johnny Test was made in. The show was essentially Johnny Test, but with an Edgar and Ellen skin on top of it. And I fucking hate Johnny Test. So as much as I liked the show when I was a kid and I watched it anytime I had the opportunity to, it's not actually that great. But it still holds a special place in my heart. And while that kind of wraps up all of the Target-themed stuff, I do have another DVD. We have Edgar and Ellen Mad Scientists Season 1, Volume 1. Spoiler alert, there was only 1 season. It didn't really catch on. But this is the only other official DVD release of the show that I believe exists. It is the first 13 episodes of the show, plus some shorts. And I would show you both discs, but actually, hold on. I'm at my computer. One of the discs is in my like little external disk drive right now. Let me see if I can get it out. Here we we go. There we go. Let's just pop that right back in there. Season 1, Volume 1. Season 1, Volume 1, Disc 2. I'm fairly positive the 2 episodes that are on the other DVD are not on this, so we've got 15 episodes of the show on official DVD releases, and beyond that, I think the rest of the show might just be lost media, because this is definitely not all of Season 1, but there were never any official releases of the rest of the show because it wasn't a huge hit, so I don't know if there is any, like, preservation going on for this show. Like, as much as I'm saying it wasn't that great, like, I'd still like for it to all be preserved. But now that we've covered the animated series, let's get into some of the other merchandising attempts they tried for Edgar and Ellen, because when that cartoon came out, they were trying to push hard for Edgar and Ellen. For instance, Edgar and Ellen Scavenger Hunt, the DVD board game with unlimited gameplay. What the hell does that mean? Yes, we have some kind of Edgar and Ellen seen-it-ass DVD board game. Yeah, I never had this growing up, but a friend of mine found it at like a thrift store and bought it for me because they knew I was obsessed with this series, which is very kind of them. I don't know if I've ever actually opened it up, so let's see what's all in here. Ooh, you're getting an exclusive first reaction. Edgar and Ellen Scavenger Hunt. Object of the game. Be the first player to pull off a prank by collecting all 3 items listed on your prank cards and head back to Edgar and Ellen's mansion. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over all these rules. I just wanna see it aesthetically. Look at the DVD! I guess there is a 3rd DVD. I wonder what's on this. I've never actually opened it up. We'll have to check that later. Cards! Cards! Whoa, these are sealed. This deck of Edgar and Ellen cards is sealed. Like I didn't think this DVD game was like new or anything, but like the cards are sealed, which means I would hope they were. I got these little game pieces, I guess. Do I open these? I probably should. All right, let's see. Let's see what's in this Edgar and Ellen card deck. Bag of flour, ballot, bag of sneezing powder, that rhymes, barrel of dye. So these are all just like items with which to prank someone, it would seem. Oh, we got the inflatable spider. That's from an episode of the show. I remember that. I was actually watching that episode the other day in preparation for this video. Marker card. Just a marker. Tree. Like, it would be nice if some of these had like Edgar and Ellen characters on them, but it would appear they don't. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where if it weren't for the fact that Pet is on the back with the prank thing, you could be forgiven for thinking these are just for some random game that has nothing to do with Edgar and Ellen. But let's see what the board looks like. Oh, this folds out weird. Ah, there we go. Ooh, got a big old like star formation thing going on here. That's kind of neat. We got Heimertz down here and all of the mayor's family, Edgar and Ellen here. Looks like we're mostly using assets from the animated series, which, you know, you can kind of get a sense of the like really streamlined, bright, colorful designs that they were running with. How do I fold this back up? There we go. But I never had this growing up, so obviously I never played it. I'll have to check out what's on that DVD some other time. But what I did have growing up was this guy, the Edgar and Ellen Mischief and Mayhem board game. This thing was so cool to me growing up. You can tell that I had it on display for a long time because it's also kind of yellowed, but this packaging is kind of fun and a little bit not like super practical, but I actually haven't opened this thing in a long time. All right, so let's see. Let's hope everything's still in one piece, because this part here is actually the board. Oh god, it's all falling. Also, look at these drawings of Edgar and Ellen. I have never seen them in this particular style before. We prowl the streets and sewers too in search of things to set askew. Those brave enough to thwart us few from the mischief we are seeking. Yes, mayhem is our favorite vice. If we like a prank, we'll play it twice. Where did the seeking rhyme? Oh, it's like a weird rhyme scheme where like they're in the middle, it rhymes at the end. We prowl the streets and sewers too in search of things to set askew. Those brave enough to thwart us few from the mischief we are seeking. Yes, mayhem is our favorite vice. If we like a prank, we'll play it twice, and then our foes will pay the price with the havoc we are wreaking. Cool. So let's see here. We got some nice classic paper instructions. Board games don't always come with these now because they just expect you to like look it up online. So we got some instructions. We got a big ass board. Let's see if I can fold this all out and fit it on screen. It's nice that the actual like board itself didn't fade. It was just the plastic around it. Oh yeah, this will fit on screen. Look at that. Boom. This is a full ass map of Nod's Limbs. This was one of the fun things about Nod's Limbs. They had like a river system with these covered bridges, and it all said like a message on top. So one said like, welcome to Nod's Limbs, stay a while. The other said, you know, tell a friend and take care. It was like, you come in one way, you see it as a welcome. The other way, you see it as a goodbye. I only played this with my family once, so I do not remember anything about how it goes, but this is a really cute board. We got Edgar and Ellen's house down here. How did they afford that? Like I know it was abandoned and junky, but like still, why did no one come like knocking for the landlord or something at any point? We'll see what's in this bit here. Oh, stuff's falling. Stuff's falling. Oh God, look at all this. Cards! More cards! Look at all these. They don't have anything interesting on them to show the camera. So we got all these little pieces. I really don't remember how this game works. I'm not gonna go into depth on learning how in this video. We're just looking at stuff here. We got these little cards that make up a full image of Stephanie, their rival. That's neat, I guess. What's on the back? Edgar and Ellen, Mischief, and Mayhem Game. Cool. Then we have these guys. These are little, like, these almost look like mini game boards or something. We got Pet, we got Edgar, we got Ellen, and we got Heimertz. That is a crazy Heimertz drawing. I have never seen him look like that. Oh man, he looks kooky. Then we have our dice. And you use these for D&D. It's a 6-sided dice, but there's 7s on them. What the hell is that about? But all this is neat. It's cute. It's not the most important piece of this puzzle for me, personally. Because by far, the most important thing about this entire game to me was what is in this. I always had trouble opening this as a kid, so let's make sure everything's good. Yes, we have little game toy figures of Edgar, Ellen, Pet, and Heimertz. The only figures of these characters that I believe have ever existed. Look at these guys. And they're looking out of the top of the mansion and stuff. I haven't seen these guys out of the box in years. So we've got Edgar here. He's tiny. They're so small that they really don't have any detail at all, but they are the characters. We got Ellen here. She's tugging at her pigtail. That's something she would do a lot. They do have the specific detail of how their eyebrows worked. For some reason, Edgar's eyebrows always like went over his eyes and Ellen's were just lines that overlapped. It's a very strange little detail. We got Heimertz. I forgot he played accordion. That was part of his whole deal. But this one's got a lot more detail than the others. It's kind of neat. He's still creepy though. But of course, the coolest is Pet. Look at him. He's so cute and cool. I like him. He's on a catapult trebuchet thing. This one's really nice. I love the detail. He's a lot bigger than the others too, so he can be more detailed. And like I said, I only ever really played this with my family once. It was not particularly popular with them. So this has lived primarily as a display piece for getting close to 20 years now. And man, I just love that I still have this. I'd like to find like a sealed one that's in better condition because I was not particularly delicate with my stuff. Look at this. Look at that. Ew. Ew. This thing's falling apart a little bit, so it would be nice to try and find one that's in better condition that I didn't ruin when I was like 12. All right, we are delicately putting this thing back together. There we go. This is, I love that I still have this. This is staying a keepsake display piece of mine forever. I love this. Like I said, I'd like to get one that's not quite as faded, but this is a really special thing for me. I love this thing. But where that was the Edgar and Ellen game that I did have growing up, the next thing we're gonna look at is something I didn't even know existed at all until 2021. This is the Tangled Tales game Edgar and Ellen Adventure Deck. What the hell is any of that? Yeah, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea what this is. I just was looking up Edgar and Ellen stuff on eBay back in 2021. This popped up. I had never seen it before, so obviously I bought it. And looking into it, this appears to be a weird little handheld choose-your-own-adventure game system thing that had all of these expansion decks with different stories, and it had an Edgar and Ellen one. You can see down here it says that it requires the Tangled Tales starter set. You can see what it is there. Unfortunately, I have literally never seen a Tangled Tales starter set in person on eBay ever. I have never seen one for sale or otherwise. So unfortunately, whatever game functionality these cards actually have, I'm not gonna be able to showcase that, but we do have a full deck of Edgar and Ellen, the Eerie Wax Mystery cards to look at here. So I don't know if I've ever actually opened this up and looked at these cards. Let's see. There we go. Ooh, they are sealed. Can we get them graded? Oh, ooh, look at this. So this is the cartridge. You see that? It's like a big ass SD card. So I guess this is the game cartridge that would go inside the starter set, and this loads up the Edgar and Ellen Eerie Mystery Wax story thing. And then you have this whole deck of, I guess, like choose your own adventure cards or something. Let's open this up and see what we got in here. See if there's any more interesting Edgar and Ellen art that we can marvel at. It's crazy how anytime I do a Foafy video on something other than cards, there always still winds up being cards. Let's take a look, see here. We got that. Ooh, pet. We got a little pet card. New species, need the seed. A sapling plant, cries Ellen. Yeah, so each of these cards seems to be like a tiny little piece of the story, and I really don't know exactly how it works, but I believe it's a choose your own adventure thing. Ooh, that's an interesting new art style for Edgar and Ellen. Like a little bit more cartoony, but still kind of in their usual vein. I just love, oh no, now we're away from the art. Now it's just words. Boo. I want to get back to the cool art. Here we go. The factory floor. We got a little goopy guy right there. He's green. Why the hell did I say he's green? He's very clearly blue. There we go. More Edgar and Ellen. Nice. The boiler room. We got Pet, that same little stock image of Pet. I just love his character design. Waxworks explodes. I guess this is maybe one of the bad endings. Oh yeah, maybe this is maybe these are like the ending cards. So Waxworks explodes, rare plant smugglers seized, mutant seeds found at Waxworks. I guess maybe those are what happens if you choose different paths in the story. Yeah, they could have just made this a book, you know? like in 2007, I don't think people were going too crazy over leapfrog-esque like reading toys, but yeah, it's something. I do hope that one of these days a real Tangled Tales starter set gets listed on eBay and I can order it so I can actually see what these things actually are meant to do. Otherwise, maybe I'll just send these in to CGC or something and see if I can get my Edgar and Ellen cards graded. Edgar and Ellen become the star of the story. Each adventure deck is a self-contained story with multiple endings. Yes, so it's a choose your own adventure type thing. Read the cards, solve the clues, and change the story with every decision you make. Wow, a 79 card deck. That's a lot. This is from 2005, so this is from before the cartoon was even really a thing. That's crazy. Oh, we got a little summary here. Insert the adventure key card into the electronic unit to unlock the story. Read the first card of the adventure deck and enter your story choice into the electronic unit. Oh, yes, so there's buttons here. That little cartridge has like particular images on the bottom that then correspond to these buttons. That's interesting. Read the first card of the adventure deck and enter your story choice into the electronic unit. Mischievous sounds and narrations tell you which card to read next, so there would be sounds and stuff. Oh man, I really want to hear what that is. I need to find one of these. I've literally never even seen one listed. Edgar and Ellen are troublesome twins who live with their unusual pet, in a towering, bleak house on the outskirts of the impossibly pleasant town of Nod's Limbs. Pale-faced and clad in tattered footy pajamas, this crafty duo loves to make mischief wherever they go. The eerie wax mystery. The abandoned waxworks on the edge of Nod's Limbs holds more than crusty vats and old machinery. Strange new plants have taken root in the waxy ruins. When Edgar and Ellen and Pet sneak inside to find a giant snapping plant for Ellen's greenhouse, they stumble upon hideous, oozy creatures who have started up the factory again. Mischief is afoot. Oh yeah, Ellen had like a thing for like growing man-eating plants. That was actually the setup of the Halloween episode. One of her plants gets like gigantic and nearly kills them both. But speaking of the cartoon, speaking of weird collectibles, speaking of strange oddities and one-offs, the final thing that I have to talk about in this Edgar and Ellen collection video is by far the coolest thing in the collection. One of the coolest things I own, period. Because I've mentioned several times throughout this video the Edgar and Ellen animated series. And for some reason, when I was looking up Edgar and Ellen stuff on eBay in 2021, someone who used to work on that show was selling actual storyboards. These are real hand-drawn storyboards from the Edgar and Ellen cartoon, specifically for the short Madam Ellen's Horoscopes, Stephanie's Feet. I don't like that. It's a 2-minute segment from Star Farm Productions. It's signed by the original artist. This first page, the tape is like barely hanging on. Oh, I should be careful about that. By Dan Kubat. Thank you, Dan. Ooh, all right. So yes, we have all of these real hand-drawn storyboards. I haven't actually looked at these in a while. Oh man. So we got the Star Farm Productions. That's Edgar and Ellen's like publishing company thing. We got the Edgar and Ellen logo. We got the Bardell Productions there for the animation studio. But yeah, these are just real, actual hand-drawn storyboards done in pencil with all of these different elements of this 1-2-minute short implemented. I think the pages are out of order, but we got Ellen here with Pet on her head. We got Stephanie over here. Ellen's got this crystal ball. They were doing kind of like a fortune-telling gag here. And just look at that. You can see how it reflects. These are real pencil drawings done directly on the Pet. Look at Pet. Oh my God. Look at him. This is just so unique. I can't believe I found these. They were all listed individually. We got some Stephanie here. Every single one of these pages were listed individually, so I had to go through quite a lot to get every single one of these. There is one singular page from this that I ended up losing the auction on, but if the name of this particular short didn't give it away, it was a storyboard that was just an extreme close-up of a character's bare foot. I didn't really fight hard for that one. I didn't really want that one to be completely honest. I'm not that much of a completionist. I just wanted the cool drawings of Ellen and Pet, really. I didn't really, it's just, I didn't care about having a complete thing, so someone else ended up getting that. This one's my favorite page because the drawing of Ellen's face is so detailed. Look at that. This looks so much better than what the final cartoon really looks like. Like, these drawings have so much more personality and detail, and it's such a much more like true aesthetic similarity to the books than anything that the TV show actually had. Look at this face. Stephanie in the show never pulled a face with that much personality. Come on. But God, these are so cool. As much of a fan of cartoons as I am, I don't own many little pieces of memorabilia like this. I know there are some people out there who have like cells from old 90s cartoons and storyboards from different shows. I would love to have more stuff like that, but at the moment, this is the only thing even slightly similar that I own. Ooh, looks like there were some different drawings overlaid here. You can see Pet was right there, but technically Pet is on Ellen's head, so not sure what that's about. Maybe some drawings were erased. I should really go through and try and put these in order because these are completely out of order. I wonder if any more of these storyboards exist and if they'll ever be like listed for sale. I have Edgar and Ellen stuff like bookmarked on my eBay, so I always get like notifications when cool Edgar and Ellen stuff gets up for auction. But man, I've never seen anything even close to this since. Look at that wide shot there. Oh man, so this is board number 7. Let me try and put these in some semblance of an order now. So I know for certain that I don't have a complete set, but I'm not sure how close to the complete set I have. Because again, these were all sold individually. But God, just look at these. How cool is that, man? It's amazing how many pages of storyboards it takes to make a 2-minute segment of animation, man. I love this kind of peek behind the scenes. So we don't have a page 4, but we have a page 7 and 8. We need a page 10. Do we have a page 10? Is page 10 the foot one? Do I not have page 10 because it was the foot one? You enjoying this paper sorting part of the episode? Are you enjoying the paper sorting content? Okay, there we go. I think now I've got it all in as much of an order as I can for an incomplete set. But yes, that is the star of my Edgar and Ellen collection. A real series, incomplete as it is, of Edgar and Ellen storyboards from the actual animated series from like 2006, 2007. I truly cannot believe that I own these. Unbelievably cool. By far the coolest, most like one-of-one thing that I may potentially own. I love these. And I love all of this. I love the entire Edgar and Ellen thing. Like, it's so nostalgic and special to me. Like, I had a birthday cake of this man. I really am excited to just grab the first book and start going through these again to really kind of update myself on what this whole story is about. I hope I don't hate it. I haven't read it in a long time. I hope I don't get disappointed. But God, no, I drew these characters all the time. I love these characters. I am so happy that I have an outlet to just like rant and rave about these weird hyperfixations of mine. This is one of those videos where I'm just like, do you care? I hope you care, because I care so much. But yes, that is my Edgar and Ellen thing. I am a 30-year-old man. Say happy birthday. Say it. You're not saying it. All right, fuck you then. Leave.